Hi, I remembered that someone commented this, so I thought I would go back and answer this. So I did some more research on this, and apparently it's not technically the grandmother theory, it's called the grandmother hypothesis. Simplified, it comes from the evolutionary theory that women, we stopped having the ability to reproduce at a certain age. And this happened because to pass on more genes and more offspring, if we stopped reproducing at a certain age, then we could help out the next generations so that the moms would have more time to recover and then produce more offspring. And there is some evidence that shows that having grandmas around to help out does increase fertility, but I don't know if that's causation or correlation, and correlation does not mean causation. And then it also goes into talking about how this might have also occurred because the grandmas could hunt and gather things that the little children could not handle picking out of the ground or planting or like hunting for small game. And the grandmas too were definitely like seen as like wise, very wise, and were considered the elders before men were, but that's I digress. But there's an Instagram account called the Female Quotient, and they did a post about this, and people were not too happy in the comments. So I'm going to read off the comments and show what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the caption to the post. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that's going to take a while. So if you want to read it, just click the video and pause it. Then here's the rest of the caption. This person said, I wrote a paper about how menopause was actually proof that the only job for women wasn't to just bear children. Many cultures would turn to elder women for advice, information, stories, and leadership, considered the wise elders. Yes. And I saw another video talking about this. I don't remember the creator, but the video went viral because she was talking about how like men tell us that like our only purpose is to reproduce, but it's projection, because actually their whole purpose is to reproduce for the rest of their lives because they never stop making sperm. And we're the ones that actually stop having the ability to reproduce. And then someone else said, I get it, but I really hate this theory. It's just another excuse to relegate women into caregiving roles. Oh, after we finish exploiting your reproductive system, now you can take care of your parents and grandchildren because that's what you were made for. Meanwhile, a man can get a second wind and start a whole new family and nobody blinks an eye. It's disgusting. Okay, and then these two comments, the first one is talking about how like men are not held to the same standards basically too, and then this one's like we're expected to give all of our free labor, and this theory kind of exacerbates that, which I would agree with. So I like the perspective that older women might be here to give knowledge and wisdom to coming generations, but also this theory was created by a white man in the 60s. I just looked it up. It was actually originated in a paper in 1957. And the scientist who came up with it, his name is George C. Williams. And so if you think of the context that this theory was made in, this is an older man. I don't know if he's white. He probably is, if it's from the late 50s. This is when the nuclear family was in full swing. traditional trad housewives was in full swing. Misogyny was still in full swing. So I could really infer that he went into making this theory with the bias of misogyny, and that women are here to take care of everyone. And so that would definitely influence coming up with this hypothesis. And people have sort of recreated the same results, but I think that there definitely is underlying misogyny in the creation of this like hypothesis / theory. I do wish that in that caption they mention the context that this theory was made in, and that it's not really that applicable today because so many women are child-free, childless, so they're not going to become grandmothers. And also, you don't have to be a grandmother to pass down wisdom and knowledge. And it's also, I wish they would have included that the basis of this theory is like we evolved to do this so that we could pass down more offspring, increase our chances of survival by creating more offspring, but we're not in that same environment today at all. And so that's why I think it received so much backlash. But yeah, I just thought I would use those comments to explain what I'm talking about, because I think it helps my point come across better. And I hope that this reaches the right audience, because this is not for everyone. Not everyone is going to like what I have to say about this, and if this is making you uncomfortable, I would actually ask yourself why. Why is this making you uncomfortable? And sit with that. Because, oh my God, this is such a side tangent, but one of the characteristics of white supremacy is the right to comfort, and how our immediate reaction to being uncomfortable is to find a way to go back to homeostasis as quickly as possible instead of sitting with the uncomfortability, and being curious about it, questioning it. I just gave you free therapy, so you're welcome.